Welcome back, and I already explained to you about theoretically about the encapsulation and getter and setter. Encapsulation means your student class here is encapsulating several of the data within it, several of the primitive variables inside it, or other variables inside it, like ID, name, and age. Then I already explained to you as well the encapsulation, and also your data is just like your treasure. It must be protected within your security box, and your friends would like to borrow your money, or other classes would like to access to your data, and they shouldn't have direct access to your data because it's not secure. And in order to implement that, you're going to make these members to be private members. This one is a private member as well. This one private members. If you're making them private, other objects will not be able to access them. Okay. However, just like what I explained to you in here, don't be that so mean. Sometimes you really want to allow them to borrow the money. The only thing is you don't allow them to get directly to your security box. But if they politely enough to argue, you can go to your security box, take the money, and you give it to them. In that case, you should provide them the access to your data. However, it must be under your controls. In Java, to implement that one, you're going to create getters and setters. So I'm going to place the getters setters normally after the constructor place and getters and setter. In order to create the getters mean returning the data or getting the data, private data, and you're going to provide a keyword which is public. You already know the keyword is private, means the variable is not accessible from outside of this method. It is only accessible within this is not method, within this class only. Okay. Again, the private keyword here shows that the variable is only accessible privately within the class student, but not outside of the class students. Okay, it is in the reverse way. If you put public, then any members here will be accessible outside. So you put here public, and the principle of the naming convention of a getter for a variable is starting with the get keyword and the variable name. But now the variable name should start with capitalized letter. So if you get ID, it should start with get ID. Okay, and in order to get the ID, you don't have to input anything. Okay, when you get the ID, you don't have to input anything. And when you get the ID, okay, then when you get the ID, it should return the ID. And when it returns the ID is of type integer, so you're going to put here int. Okay, and in here you're going to return ID. This one is the getters. Similarly, you can also code the setter. Okay, setter is to get the money and set it to the security box. Okay, so you need to pass in the values, in this case the ID, and it must be also the public, and it's not returning anything, so you don't put void, but it's going to start with set as well, and the variable name started with capitalized letters, so set ID. And when you set, you have to give what values that you're setting, so int ID values. Okay, then for this one you're going to set ID equal to ID val. Okay. ID equal to ID vals. So you're going to have the ID values equal to the ID vals here. This one is a setter. So you received an input which is an ID values, and you're going to set into your ID. Okay, this one is getter and setter. Okay, and you can see how it works now. Similarly, we're going to be able to create the getters and setter for name and age as well. So I'm going to create the public void get names. This one is going to return. This one is going to return name. Similarly, you're going to do public string. Okay, sorry, not void. Get is gonna be string. If you do the set, it's gonna be void. Okay. Set name, and you need to put what name to set. Okay, you need to put what name to set. So you're going to take name equal to name values. Okay, and then similarly you're going to do public int get age. Okay, this one is going to return age, and you're going to do public void set age. You're going to do int age then this one sort h val, and this one you're going to put h equal to h val. That one is you completed all the getters and setters for the h values. Now, if you look at this one now, you are not having, or the main class is not having direct access to the ID name ages anymore. But when they would like to access to this ID name ages, they need to access to our methods here, our setters. So if they access via our setter, it is under our control because we can write further code here to control that setters. Okay, that is the reason why it has more controls, because you can write more codes here to control the set values. That's why this one is just mean like you have to go via you. You don't access. No, your friends has to go via you. Your friend is not having the ability to access to the treasure box directly. Must go via you, or must call the draw method. And when it's called the draw method, you can write code to control it. So in this case, you're going to use this one. You can call to set the ID to number 3. Okay, set the ID to number 3. Okay, you're gonna set the name to Miss3. Okay, set the name to Miss3. Dot set name to Miss3. Okay, you can also set age. Okay, set age to 22. Okay, instead of accessing directly to what do I mean? So let's just test this one and run. You'll have the similar result. You still have the name HI and ID and age correspondingly. Let's just demonstrate about how do I mean about controls. Let's say I can control the set h version if the h values is smaller than 0. Okay, this one is invalid h. You're gonna put h equal to 1. Okay, smaller than or equal to 0, you're gonna put h equal to 1. This is what it means about control. Okay, that one is what it means about control. Else. Okay. So I can control them. I do not allow them to put invalid values, which is h smaller than 0. So that if user put here, which is -1 for h, it will by default set back to 1 years old. Okay, by default set it back to 1 years old. That one is what it means about controlling. Now it's a point to add some further things as well. You'll see that I'm putting the values as ID val, name val, age vals, and ID vals here. As I already explained to you in previous slide. Okay, I think I still have it here. Just put it there. And then, about the when we normally people don't put ID vals, but people just put ID only. Okay, they will just put name only, and they will just put age only with the same name as job members. Okay, same name as job members. Okay, so the input variables here are the variables which existed within the scope of your method, which in this case is within the scope of your student constructor. Okay, and if you only and in this scope there is another members as well with the same name, which is the ID of the same type int. So you have two IDs in these places. Okay, one is from the student, another one is from the input parameters. However, if you simply just say ID, this ID means its closest ID. Okay, and in order to specify the ID of the student class, not the ID of the input parameters, you're going to specify the keyword this. Okay, so if you simply just say ID, it means the closest one possible. This means the closest one possible. This is this ID. But if you would like to specify the ID of this object of the students, ID of this object, because you're creating an object of the student class, you're gonna use this dot ID. Similarly, for the name, you're gonna do this dot name. Simply, you're gonna do this dot h. Okay, ID name h. So ID here means this ID, and ID of this object is this one. Similarly, for this one, I'm gonna name it ID. So you're gonna take this dot ID, and this one is ID only. Similarly, this one is a name, and this one is name. Okay, and this one is this dot name. Okay, and this one is H. Okay, you can just simply say H here, simply say H here, and this one is this dot H, and this one is also this dot H. Okay, that, okay. Then if you run this one, it will give the same result as you had before, but it's going to be more professional, and normally people can do it this way. And I see as well, it's a time for us to generate about the constructor, the getter and setter. You will see right now they have a very regular patterns that very pattern that often happens, which is when you create the constructor, it's always the same variables as your variables here, as your members here. Okay, and it's assigned these things this way. When you create the getter, it's always get, and then it's your variable name start with capitalized letter, and you return that same members. When you create the setter, it start with set, and then the variable name start with capitalized letter, and the values, which is your members. Then you do the assignment. That's why inside NetBeans only, you can generate all of these things automatically without having to code. So let's say if you would like to generate the constructor, okay, you're going to right click on this one, you'll see insert code, or you can use a shortcut which is Control I, okay, or you will see corresponding shortcut inside Windows. So this one, insert code, and you're going to choose constructor, and I'm going to generate the default constructor. So for the default constructor, I'm going to just leave it here first, and then I'm going to right click and insert code. I'm going to choose constructor again, and this constructor, I'm going to ask the user to input ID name H correspondingly. Generate, so you'll see it generated the constructor for us, and you can code this one, and I'm going to paste this one, the default constructor. The ID is 0, the name is empty, the H is 0 as well. Similarly, you can right click and insert code, and you're going to choose getter and setter, and you're going to select this one. It's going to generate getters setters for all of the variables for you. See, so you have the getter and setter done. Okay, so this is pretty it. When you run the Java application, you get everything the same. Okay, everything is the same. That is it for encapsulation and some shortcut for code generations. Okay. And I think that's it for today. And next time you're going to see about, we're going to talk about inheritance, another very important features of object-oriented programming. So just to conclude as well, you now completed 2 features of object-oriented programming. There are 4 of them. You completed the first feature, first features already. Okay. You completed the first feature already, which is the abstractions, which is the creation of the class. It's creation of collection of objects with common characteristics, common behaviors. Okay, and then you already study another features of object-oriented programming, which is encapsulation. Okay, your class is encapsulating many other members, many other things within it, and you can protect them with private keywords, and you also be able to allow them to do getter setters as well, to access to your private members, but this time it's under your control. Okay, and next lectures you're going to study about inheritance. Okay, and the lecture after that you're going to study about polymorphism. Okay, polymorphism. Okay, features of object-oriented programming. Okay.